pick something and just do it. Chase that dream, chase that goal, do that thing. And it doesn't matter if anyone accepts it. There's going to be some people who accept you for it, and find the happiness in that.
Quiet feet.
Oh, you gotta watch it. Yeah. What are the things people will tell you? Anyone's successful.
Get ready to get inspired. This is the Go4TheGoldy podcast.
Hey there, it's Wednesday, March 10th. Happy Mario Day for all those who celebrate. I'm joined today by the baddest gamer around. You better watch out or he's going to flex on you. Fellow Bills Mafia member, Flex Chapman. Flex,
hey.
How you doing, sir?
Yo, we're good today, man. We're feeling real healthy and ready to kind of dive into this. I mentioned before as well, too. It's weird being on the question answering side as well, but we're excited to see what's going on over here.
Awesome. Well, I'm happy I could flip the script today for you, man. So today, what I want to do, first off, let's get started. I always like to have my guests introduce themselves, just a real high level, who you are and, what you do.
Yeah, so just to go ahead and address it straightforward, Flex Chapman. I'd like to throw myself in the content creator category because I feel like Twitch streaming is not enough. I'd like to pursue all different avenues of creation of content, eventually approaching into YouTube, podcast, streaming, everything. I mean, I like to be everywhere and trying to do that, spin in a little bit of fitness and gaming and make sure the whole thing just works together.
Well, I'll tell you, if your TikTok, was it your TikTok video that you made with Joe Rogan?
Yeah.
if that's any indication about where your career in content creation is going, I think you have a very bright future in front of you, man. That was freaking hilarious.
It's fun, man. It's fun to just take these ideas and mess around. Obviously, in this day and age, all it takes is like a frog falling over to blow up on TikTok. So, I mean, to try to stay original to the content and then get to that point, we'll see where it goes.
No, I think you're doing a great job, man. I mean, you caught my attention. I mean, I've been following you for a bit, and I was really excited when you said that you'd be willing to come on here. And then I saw you on the stream with the Bills shirt on, and that's when I was just like, okie dokie, I definitely got to have him on now.
It's a rare breed, and it's funny too with Bills. Anywhere you go, like I even visited family in Arizona, and there's people with Bills flags outside. It's like, once you're Bills Mafia, I mean, that's with you for life.
Oh, yeah. I mean, so a funny story. I moved down here. I live in Frisco, Texas, and I moved down here August of 2018. And I moved down here, it was the preseason in August, and I looked for the Bills bar, like the official Bills bars, and I saw one right, relatively close to where I am, like 20 minutes away, and I go in, and a guy comes up and introduces himself, and he says, hey, I noticed you're new here and wanted to see, if are you like moving here? Or are you, just visiting? I was like, no, I moved here. And lo and behold, it was Pancho Villa. And
wow.
Yeah. And small world, but he basically, I worked for the Major League Soccer team down here. That's why I moved here. And he wound up actually going to the game that weekend. So I got him an interview on TV. He wore his Bills mask, and
yeah, man.
It was just a pretty special moment, especially with, unfortunately, what happened, to him with the cancer. But yeah, pretty special moment. But you're right, man. Being a part of Bills Mafia is pretty freaking special. So yeah, and it's always nice to meet a fellow member.
For sure.
So when I introduced you, I know you said you wanted to be known as a content creator. And, you said you're looking to expand into, the world of podcasting and YouTube and all that stuff. But what got you into, I guess we'll start off with saying, the reason for my podcast or my show, whatever you want to call it, is I want to inspire others, whether it be in athletics, art, music, content creation, streaming, video game, whatever it is. So you are someone who in the very short time that I've been following you, I've seen your growth. It's pretty impressive, and you obviously have a passion for it. I mean, just yesterday you said, what was the tweet that you put out there that I responded to?
I'd have to double check. I tweet so much random stuff. I'm literally just always kind of throwing things out there. Let me see what's here. I got it all pulled up because I was
It was something like
going over it.
I want to be like a full-time content creator.
Yeah,
something to the effect of that.
I wanted to be a signed content creator. Well, that's important too, because I think content creation is such a, like, people get the term very conflated very often with streamers or YouTubers or whatever. Like, content creators, like, more than just that, people love content, and that's the thing that's, the most absorbed. It's the thing that I always most was akin to the thing that I looked for. And, I always say, like, a lot of it is just, this data transfer of, like ideas and like minds and like thoughts. And, that's what content creation always spoke to me. I think I'm touching upon your question here. You were getting at what got me into content creation in the first place. Mm-hmm. It's a kind of a long backstory, but podcast, right? So that's the whole point.
We got nothing but time, my friend.
But so when I was younger, it's not sob story. I'm not going too far into detail or anything. But I was homeless for a very large portion of my childhood, right? And it was like gaming and other stuff like that, obviously not having access to it, but that was the stuff that, like, got me the most excited, especially when I was younger, because, I had a local church that I went to that had some computers, albeit very, like, outdated. Same thing at the library, some computers there and whatnot. And I would literally watch, like, YouTubers, like back then Smosh and PewDiePie and other streamers and Machinima, Call of Duty, Only As We Played, all those other just like old schoolers. Bajira was a gigantic one who still streams on Twitch and does YouTube, a lot of World of Warcraft content. And I just loved it because they did something for me that I never had, which was they were someone I've never met, but they were approachable. I could write hello and they would say hello. And to me, that seems so foreign because with celebrities, you never see that. It's like you see a celebrity and they don't even want to talk to you on the street. They're kind of giving you the sideline, but this person who you look up to is like, hey, I hope you're having a great day. And they actually talk to you. And I knew when I was younger, like, bingo, there it is. So I set my mind and my path to do this my entire life. From when I was coming out of homelessness and working my way up to where I was. I used to move furniture. And then with that, I bought a laptop. And I remember I was streaming off this laptop. The laptop was the microphone, the keyboard, the monitor, and the webcam all at once. And it was awful. I was doing nothing but Hearthstone at the time because it's the only thing I could run. And they were awful, but I was desperate to get content out there. Yep. And then it was actually my friends who got my first PC for me, and Liv as well, my love of my life. They all pitched in and did like an iBuyPower pre-build, which got me further going. And I was Corvos for a very long time. That was my old name on streaming. And I went through all these different rebrands because I've been doing it for years. I went from originally on Twitch, growing myself, playing nothing but Rust. And then I left Twitch when Mixer kind of became a thing. I was on Mixer for a couple of weeks and I realized that Corvos wasn't who I identified with really anymore. And so I did a gigantic branding thing. We can get into more of all this in depth as well too, but I'm just kind of getting the path. And I realized that this brand, I love the word flex in everything because it had this like strength, but it was also quick, right? It's a name that's easy, but hard to forget, and it needed something. And I actually was going to be Flex Jones. I did logos for Flex Jones. I did merch ideas for Flex Jones. And it was a buddy of mine who mentioned Chapman, and I love the idea. So we ran with that, and we succeeded very crazily on Mixer. Mixer, we had rocketed off. We were very successful on Mixer, on the path to partnership. Mixer suffered a grave fatal injury in the sense that they closed, and yep. We ended up back on Twitch. But the main reason,
July 22nd, wasn't it?
Yes. 2 days before my birthday.
My birthday's July 22nd. That's why I remember that date. So there you go.
Yeah, 2 days before my birthday. I remember I was broken. So about a week before I made the switch back to Twitch, and I had degraded follows. I went from when I had stopped on Twitch 1,000 back down to about 700, and then from kind of August is when I'd consider it. To now, I've gotten back up to 2,700, so 2,000 and maybe half a year or so.
And where were you at on Mixer?
I don't even remember where I ended. 6, 7, 8. So I was like,
oh wow.
The thing
so
was, I was but I was on Mixer for 4 months, right? And I was just like blowing up.
That's crazy.
And it was going so fast for me because my first ever stream on Mixer, It's so funny because that goes back to the push-up thing. I figured it would come up at some point, but on stream, I always do 5 push-ups for follow, 5 push-ups for subscription, and then 1 push-up for every increment of $1 donation. And on Mixer, when I first started, I was like, what's something that I can do that nobody else can do? And I was like, well, I literally bench 420. Like I'm in the gym all the time. Like let's do some push-ups, man. Like that's easy. And my first day I set it as 10. And I can't remember who it was, someone large at the time. I feel bad for not remembering because so many great partnered content creators on Mixer shared their communities, Arconaut, Tonesy, Ship, everyone. Somebody had hosted me for a large number and I instantly got like 100 followers and I was freaking out because it was at 10 and I changed it about halfway through and I ended up doing about 800 that night, but it was like crazy. And my first ever night on streaming on Mixer, I got over like almost 200 followers and it was just like, just rocketing.
Well, that's okay because what I can do is just edit that name in later on, and I'll just dub it over and be like, Mr. Jones.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, well, yeah, of course.
Well, I'll tell you, man. So the reason I got like a frog in my throat. I literally just got off the bike. I don't know if you can see the bike behind me, but I rode my bike for like an hour and a half, and then jumped off and got ready here. So I'm still like recovering. But
Sure thing.
But that's a segue is, what attracted me to your channel was like the fitness aspect of it.
Yeah.
Because there's so many streamers who are sedentary or, just strictly gamers or, have whatever their passions are. There really isn't a lot of like fitness. Now, I mean, you're starting to see it, a lot more, but it's crazy that that's what attracted me to your channel. But to hear your story is a whole side of you that I did not know existed. So that's pretty damn, you fit this whole genre, what I'm trying to do here, just perfectly. So I'm really excited to kind of really dive into this here. So the working out stuff, aside from like content creation, like have you always been, fit and into working out? You play any sports growing up, anything like that?
No, I've always had a predisposition to a large frame. So I've always been like kind of not fat, but on the heavier side, like even younger, like, at 13, I was like 170, 180. Yeah. Like I was like a genuinely heavy person, but I never like, not even like fat though. Just like, even if you saw my father, you'd understand completely. He's like, it's just a genetic thing that we have, like my brothers as well too. And, I never really cared about the working out stuff. In fact, again, my whole goal in life, like straight line has been streaming. Like that's my end all say all, like I would do that over anything. So the gym was like totally never on my radar until I had this one person tell me like, just basically like almost challenged me. Like, oh man, yeah, you can't do this. There's something about the bench press. And I was like, oh no, I'll come with you one time. And so I went and I was nowhere even close. I thought I could do a lot more. I threw 185 on, the bar crushed my chest. I was like totally, you know what I mean? And it was kind of like, I almost got into it because I was annoyed that I couldn't. And they were kind of like laughing and everything. I was like, oh, you know what? No, all right, give me a second. I'm going to catch up. And, probably over the span of, I'd say a good 10 years or so, it just kind of continued getting more and more. But the delineation was also the fact that I didn't necessarily care about, I care about the fit side of things a lot. Like I'm a healthier person, mm-hmm. But for me, it was always just about larger numbers in that competitive way. Like I just like, being with my peers and having that over them. And then they have something now that I have to work towards and that like rat race of just fun. That's kind of what really motivated me to do so.
That's really cool, man. I mean, I tell you that as I get older, I don't know how old you are. I'm 34, and as I get older, I'm just, you realize more and more the value of friendships and people that drive you. You need to be around people that are pushing you to be better. The people that are complacent or the people that like are 24, 25, and they're like, well, this is it. I'm old now. It's like, what? Like I can't imagine being in that mindset. And I know so many people that act like that. So, to the story of, did you say girlfriend, fiance, wife?
Girlfriend.
Okay. So, girlfriend, helping to buy you that computer and your friends. I mean, these are people that share the same vision for you. And I mean, that is invaluable to have those kinds of people around you. And I feel you in that competitive edge, though. But you said you were you tried out 185, and
my first day, yeah, and it just got destroyed.
And I think it's at 420 now, right?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Holy shit, that is an
Yeah.
increase.
So about 420 for the bench, just because everyone always asks, and I know it'll probably be a comment later. Squats, I ended up around 6, like early 6, like just hitting it, and then deadlifts was around the same, about 580. When again before COVID, because COVID kind of, I don't know my full benchmarks because I went back to my original gym and they have all the heavyweight section basically off right now, so it's like you can't really do much. You can do machines and treadmill and whatever else, but I'm not.
Right. It's not the same yet. We'll get back there though, hopefully.
For sure. No, we'll and I still do work out, but it's not the same. The push-ups are really the funnest thing because it's like, it was such a cool way to tie it together. A lot of people don't understand it, especially like with content creation. Like if we look at demographics just for a brief second, how much of that is younger people? It's probably at least 70%, right? Mm-hmm. It's very rarely of the same age group as us, unless of course there are other content creators. Mm-hmm. Most consumers are younger because they're the ones who are tied to their phone the most and have the most time to use it.
Right.
The fitness, and the reason that the fitness and everything else needs to be tied into the things is because it's gigantic for mental health more than it is for physical health. Physical health is huge, but the mental health growth and advocacy that it gives you is so massive and surmountable in your life, and that's what a lot of the youth needs, and they don't even realize it because it's not stressed them the importance. I had kids in my stream joking about Zoom gym class and how the teacher was having them CPR pillow and they weren't even doing it. It's just like all this weird stuff, and it's like I tell people sometimes like, hey, in my stream, I point someone out, hey, you do the push-ups with me at home, like let's get it, and they do the 5, I do 5, and it's like they come back, and it's like challenging each other because that's what got me interested. Somebody tricked me into it by challenging me, and I like to kind of keep that reciprocal because it's necessary.
That's really cool. Yeah, and I think what I really love about the whole community, that especially what you have is success isn't mutually exclusive like it used to be. Like you said, mm-hmm. back in the day, like it was a celebrity was someone who was a celebrity. They were untouchable. They were on TV or in a movie or in a music video or whatever kind of celebrity you're looking up to. But the way things are shifting now is there's just so many different paths and patterns and different niches that you can find yourself in, that people want to develop a community around, and the positivity that you can create by doing that. I mean, yeah, if you want to live on Twitter all day long and go down rabbit holes where you can manifest anger all day, go ahead, be my guest. That's not going to be doing anybody any favors. But being around someone like you who's like a beacon of positivity and overcoming a lot of adversity and obstacles and promoting the health and just having a good time, and that is just such a cool, I think, unprecedented kind of thing that we're experiencing now in 2021 and beyond. I think it's pretty cool. It's pretty damn cool.
The thing that I like about it the most is because of is the fact that there are people who also have unfortunate lives as well. It's a very common for streamers to say like, hey, my stream is a stream. It's not therapy. I'm here to like entertain and play games or whatever. But I like the fact that I wake up to Discord messages every single day, all the time, of people telling me things that went wrong. In my Discord channel, I have a venting area, and I have other avenues of people to talk about fitness. I've personally curated fitness plans for followers and subscribers. I have personally gone through lots of advice because I feel like that level of like, what I like about my community is I always refer to it as like your friend's couch. You know what I mean? Like when you were younger, you'd go to your friend's couch. Maybe his older brother was there, maybe a younger brother. And I want everyone to be able to joke around with each other, but still have everyone's best interest in mind and continue to push each other to be the better people, support each other, and, weed people out. I mean, I've cut people out who've been the highest donator for the month, and just because, they were, they took that and let it get to them. But the mainstay is mutual support, positivity, and growth, and that's just what I want to continue moving forward with.
What a cool concept, man. That is really cool. And I mean, there's no doubt in my mind you'll get to where you want to get to. So what
it's coming.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there's no doubt. So you started off on, what was the original game that you said you were playing on your crappy laptop that was kind of the all-in-one thing? Was it Hearthstone, you said?
First ever was Hearthstone, yes. So I actually played competitively in that. I went Legend a couple times, but it was like, so yeah, it was so early on that it was like, yeah, I played Zulok and I played Zulok and Handlock at the time, and that was it. And I went Legend a few times, and then it didn't matter because my setup was so bad that like even though I was good, nobody would have known ever. So it was like it didn't even matter.
So after Hearthstone, when you got that, I guess everyone's life is filled with, you know, turning points, and I guess the turning point for you would be when you got that computer, this
Yeah.
really nice computer. So then, what games did you start to get into then?
So it was funny because it landed on my lap as an accident. I was thinking like sticking with Blizzard, World of Warcraft, and Heroes of the Storm, and other games like that. Overwatch was announced, and so we started playing that. And then my one buddy just was like, "Hey, there's this new game out at Survival. It's called Rust. It's like $20 for 4 copies, like $5 a game." And I didn't take it that seriously because I didn't value like indie games at the time as much. But man, when Rust when we played it, we had like this crazy adventure, very akin now to Valheim, but we'll get to that because I'm into that right now so much. But it had this like adventure of this world you hadn't explored, and this growth and the survival, and you could lose that at any time. And I just got so into it that I instantly put 2,000 hours into the game, like right off, like probably in a few months. Like I just fell right into it, and I actually got my notoriety through that game. There's a few partnered streamers, Vertigo, Shaky HD, Frost, and Aqua FPS, who all hosted me at that point in time, very high up in the Rust. I mean, they were pulling, at that point, hundreds, thousands of viewers, and like the community was tight of like actual Rust content creators. And I began to start to get these opportunities. It was at that point in time, though, that I had kind of that changing point where Mixer was coming up. I'd been playing nothing but Rust for a long time. And I was like, do I want to keep playing this exact same thing all the time? Or do I want to switch it up? Because I would get tired. I'd play Rust and I'd be like, all right, I'm going to switch games. And then back in the day with Twitch, what would happen is a lot more because I didn't value my community. I just valued the game. As soon as I would switch Rust, my viewer count, because I used to pull like much higher viewer counts than I do now. My viewer count would literally just drop down to the floor, like to zero. Like I'd like play Overwatch and my viewer count would go to zero. And then I would sometimes just leave my game as Rust, but switch games on Twitch because like the category. Like people would come in and be like, hey, what's this? And I'm like, oh, just stay for a second. Hold on. It's Overwatch, but we're going to we'll go to Rust in an hour, I promise. And it never did. But yeah, I realized that it's not about, it wasn't about the game, but it's about building myself. That was such a painful lesson to learn. And it took me way too long. Everyone should know that. It's not the game, it's the creator. 100%. All the time.
I love that. That's I've been learning that myself. I've definitely been learning that. You know what's funny is I found my way to streaming through Zwift. Do you know what Zwift is? Have you ever seen that?
No.
So my bike's behind me here. And I compete for
subtle flex right there as you're pointing. Yeah, my bike's right there.
Yeah, because I'm so huge. I'm 160 pounds. But
it fits you well. You look good.
Thanks, I appreciate it. But yeah, I compete for Team USA Triathlon it's called the age group level. So I ride my bike all the time, and I'm always riding it in the house, and it's so boring just staring at the wall. And there's this. It's like a game called Zwift, where it's like an avatar of you on the bike, but it's like it's a game. So all your power meter and your speed and your cadence and all that stuff is projected onto the avatar, and you explore this different worlds in this game. Well, it's a category on Twitch, so I was like, this is interesting, and I hopped on. Fast forward a year later, and I'm friends with people all over the world that come on, and we all support each other. We do group rides together. So
yeah,
it's such a cool idea. And like you said though, it's about the creator, not the game, right? I mean, you will get those people that come in because they want to watch. Like I'm the other side of gaming. I like the Mario games. I play Mario Kart. I'm playing Super Mario Maker.
I've been through YouTube, man. I like to see that. Yeah, go for world records and whatnot. That's sick.
Yeah. So I do that kind of stuff. But a lot of the viewers that come on and watch me play Mario are people that I met through Zwift, but they just like to hang out and talk to you, and you're like, oh, you're into this. This is cool. I'll hang out.
So important,
you. But that's a great lesson that you mentioned, though. I think that's an important lesson for people just starting out. I mean, there's just be your own person, man. People are attracted to your personality.
Yeah, man. That's so all right. So I have to admit, I also have a weakness here. In the same breath, I also do have a weakness, just because it's very obvious. It's one of those things that I can teach, but I can't do. Like, I don't know why, but injecting your personality into your content is the number one thing. I'm very good at it with Twitch. Like on Twitch, I would go live and I would do anything. I've ripped shirts in half. I've done I've poured water bottles all over the place. Like I've done just so much that's just so aberrant that I would never do just traditionally in person because I enjoy that. But as soon as you flick on a recording like for maybe a TikTok or an Instagram clip or Twitter or whatever, I freeze. I can't be on recording. It's so bad. Like I can't do a voiceover. Whenever I like the Joe Rogan thing took me 5 days and it was frightening. I had to have I sit right here while I did it because I was so uncomfortable with recording. I can't get natural and comfortable doing it. It's like a big like
That's funny.
it's such a crutch, but that is the number one way to really get the community built around your content because everyone can play Mario, everyone can play Zwift, anyone can play Rust, anyone can play these games. But why watch you of the 10,000 people doing that exact same thing at the exact same moment? Why watch you? What are you bringing to the table that nobody else is? And that's what's so important. I mean, that's what's so crucial. And a lot of people get stuck in it where they'll play this game like Fortnite, like where Ninja was stuck for so long. And I feel bad for him because he was miserable, man. He would get on and you could tell he was just so sick of playing Fortnite. And now he's playing Valorant. He's happy. He's playing League. He's doing this and he earned it. You know, he served his time and now he's doing it.
You know what when I first started, I think a lesson that I learned that I would give advice to people out there, and I'm nobody, but at least, I'm trying, and I engulf myself and trying to learn this stuff all the time, is watch your streams when you're done, and you find out that you say a lot of crap or a lot of fillers, and you do a lot of things that are pretty obnoxious. Not you, I'm just saying in general.
No, yeah, of course. No, you're right. Yeah, me too. Quite literally on my wall right here, I have it's called I misspelled the word commandment. It's 10 commandments, but it like literally like there are things that I will look to when I realize that I'm messing up. Like chat comes first, stop chewing, biting at your nails, whatever. Don't become the group. It's your show. Explain before it's asked. Not everyone knows what's going on. Remember your brand, never check view count, always be talking, like a bunch of things that if I look over and I see that I'm not doing something, it kind of brings me back to center because it's so easy to like be 2 hours in and you're getting a little bit lazier and a little bit tired and you're not giving it your all. And then you rewatch the VOD and you're like, this is awful. Like, how do I even, I wouldn't watch this. So why would somebody else? Right.
I love that. That concept of having like the 10 commandments there, that's really cool. I've never heard of that before. Did you pick that up from somebody or did you come up with that on your own?
No, it's just because before it was just a bunch of sticky notes because I would have sticky notes all over the place. I have really bad ADHD and non-medicated just because it's also like really fun and creative. But at the same time, sometimes it's hard to keep track of those things. And so I have sticky notes all over the place and no one can see it obviously because my webcam only shows me. But my desk, the reason I've never done a room tour is because you wouldn't want to see it. Like it's like I have like things for fidgeting, things for like whatever else. And when it comes down to those little habits, they're so easy to just let sit and never realize them because nobody, just like you said, watches their content. I tweet that probably once a month, like rewatch your VODs, like go, like please, because that's going to teach you more than watching another streamer. That's going to teach you more than whatever else. That's going to teach you more than hopping on a trend. Like improve you. Like if you're the product you're selling, improve you. Put that first, fix that, and then let's start hopping on trends once we have like already something going.
Yeah, no, I agree with you, man. It's funny that when you mentioned your first laptop that you were using to stream was like your first. It was like an all-in-one kind of thing.
Yeah.
When exactly a year ago, when all this started hitting, I went to work from home and I didn't have a laptop, so I went and bought a laptop with no intention to stream. I didn't own one and I needed one to do some work from home. So I got a crappy little one, and then I got into streaming maybe like 2 months after that. And it's funny, my first streams were like, what the hell? Like, how?
Yeah.
What was I thinking?
Oh my God, yeah. The first streams were awful, and even when I'd say even like a year in, my streams looked awful because I was just trying to like find my own way and always do it like my way, but the cheapest way. Like I've never paid for graphic design. I've literally made everything that I've ever done myself, just because like it's always frustrating communicating your idea, which goes back to, again, that whole remember your brand thing. Like trying to tell someone like, hey, will you edit this for me quickly? And you give it to them and they come back and like, no, do this and that. You give it to them. They come back, no, add this. And then by the time you get there, it's like, I should have just done it myself.
And if you're doing Fiverr, you're having to pay if you're having to pay extra for all the different things. And that's really interesting you say that, man, because I've done the same thing recently. And actually, breaking news, you're going to be the first podcast that I produce through Adobe Rush.
Okay.
Yeah, because usually I just kind of hodgepodge, like piecemeal it together through the Anchor.fm app. But I'm gonna really like produce this, well to the best of my ability. But like you said, it's hard to explain what you want to others, if you have a vision. So
Yeah.
it's better for me, I think, in my opinion, to just learn these things yourself, these skills, and because they're invaluable. Once you learn them, you're not gonna lose it, and you're only gonna get better. So you have to start somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah, well, all of those things are so important. Like the podcast that I do occasionally, I haven't done it in a few weeks because I had a couple of other projects going on. But the project that I was the podcast that I designed was built to be all in one, where like I could do the stream, clip the VOD, and send it to YouTube without having to do any editing. Like that was the whole design functionality behind it. And the one time that I wanted to edit it, I sent it to an editor. I paid $40, and I got it back like 4 weeks later, and it was like all these like jump cuts and everything. I never even posted it. Like I was just like, thanks, but no thanks. Like I'm not happy with it, and I should have just trusted my gut in the first place. But you get to this excitement point, like when you have a new idea and you're like, man, I need to jump on this and kind of mess around with this. Editing was important for me because I thought it was so necessary, but it's not. I only have one editor who I truly trust right now. That's Cinti. He's good, but he's so busy. He's so young. It's crazy, man. He's young. He's like I think 14, and
wow.
Man, and he's in school and everything, but I'll send him a clip like 2 minutes later, just get fire back. He's like on it. But that's the thing, like he's so young too, and like that's how I was kind of a graphic design and art, because I always did that, but I never like did it as like a money thing. And like this guy's just like great. He's like so young and so good already. Like I can't even wait to see like in 6 years from now when he's 20, 21. What kind of fire he's just gonna be throwing out? Probably in movies or something. Man.
That's amazing, man. Grab him young and hang on to him. You're right. Just.
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm telling him, man. He's crazy good, man. He's insane. But
that's another thing that I think I really not. I think I love about this whole thing is you can't do this just strictly by yourself. It's cool to like have this interdependent community, and you're all pulling in the same direction. I love this stuff. I think it's really cool that you get to share in the success together. When you put a clip up and maybe tag him in it, or show him like, hey, it got this many follows or this many likes or whatever. I mean, that's a direct result of yours and his work together, and you get to share in that success together.
What's frustrating about it is the fact that there's so many people who like have the formula so wrong that they come by streams or like self-promote themselves in comment sections and shit like that.
Oh, that's brutal.
Like it's so weird to me, because it's like, listen, like I like if you come to my stream, I will sit with you and go through like designing you emotes, graphics. Like I will spend the time to help you create your brand. I will literally like everything from logo drafts to whatever you need. Like that's fine, just come to me. But once you're like, hey, like I just went live in chat. You're like, okay, like why? Like, yeah, like cool. Like thanks for absolutely nobody asking and you giving us that information. Here's a band. See you later. Because I don't know. Like I'd rather just shout people out like all the time, like on Twitter. Like I'll randomly just be like, yo, this person's awesome. Like please check him out, just like I did with Oversoul recently, because he is awesome and people should check him out. And that's what I do when I care about people who are new but creating their own type of content. It's awesome, man. I love the fact that there's people who have so many different avenues, and when they're doing something that I can't do, or they're on an avenue that I don't approach, I wouldn't want to copy it. I'd rather just push them forward and be like, yo, check this person out. Like they're funny for this, or Oversoul with his dogs and his value. It's just, I don't know. I love that. You with your incredible fit. I mean, you're obviously on a different path to fitness, right? I'm just like no abs, big, bulky, just push heavy weight, like lift boulders. And you're like 48 by 4 by. So I can't even think about that, man. I wouldn't even be able to do the first 4.
Yeah, that was definitely something. I'll tell you, man. Again, though, like just like streaming, I mean, with the support of friends and family, I couldn't have done it. I mean, my fiance was following me in the car at 2 a.m. I had to follow a specific path down here because there's coyotes all over the place at night, and I wasn't trying to get attacked by a coyote, But again, it's everyone has their own path and their own voice, and follow that. Don't try to be something you're not. And that's why I was hoping that you wouldn't think that I was just some guy who's like trying to self-promote or something like that, because I'm not. I think you're interesting, man. And I just want to talk to you, and then share your story with whoever wants to hear it. That's the point of this.
The weirdest thing is when people use these arbitrary numbers to try to leverage anything or like leverage social status. It's so weird to me. I don't like that at all. Like, I don't care if somebody has literally 2 followers or 8,000. I don't care. It's only when like weird stuff happens out of that I kind of get like, hey, like peel back a couple seconds, peel back a little bit. Like, gaming with someone who has a low following or something. And I'm not saying low is an arbitrary number. Like, who's to define what's low? Like, if you've been doing 2 months, is 100 low, is 1,000 low? Like, who knows? Like, it depends on what kind of person you are and your own growth patterns and analytics. But like, and then it's just like, yo, I'm live with Flex, and their title is like live with Flex, and then like they post like live with Flex, and it's like, yo, like create a cool, unique title for yourself, like your own content. And let's have this energy where it's not like this awkwardness, and like the same way that like if we randomly met in a lobby, you know what I mean? Like that's what I want to get out of it. Like, not that like we're sitting here like, all right, now's the part where we get a double. Like, I want it to be like just natural. That's what's so important. And people, that organic, that's why I like podcasts, because it's organic. Like, you can't fake this. Like, you can't script hours of conversation. Like, this is all truly just what comes out. This is what you feel.
And it's cool that you learn these things about each other. Like, I had no idea your backstory, and that just really is just such a crazy, inspiring situation that obviously it sucked, to be in that situation in the first place.
Oh, for sure, no fun.
But overcoming and like coming and getting to like where you've been. So what's next for you? I mean, let's go currently. Currently, like what are your top games that you're grinding out, daily, and what's your schedule like on a weekly basis?
Man, schedule sucks. So like, I'm one of those. I'm really unique in the sense of like my views on like the grand scheme of life, right? Because the grand scheme of life is, I guess, in my opinion, I know this is like totally like you asked like what's my favorite game. I'm talking grand scheme of life, but like
just roll, baby. Just roll.
Don't worry, it's gonna come. It's gonna come back. It's gonna come back. So like a grand scheme of life thing is like what do you think your end goal should be, or your like end all say all, right? And for so many people, they don't know what it is, right? It's like, I could do this, I could do that, I'm not sure, whatever else. No, like from the homelessness, it was like streamer. Like, I want to be a content creator, like beeline, you know what I mean? So like right now I have a well-paying job. I work full time. I, have my significant other. I call her that because she's gonna be my wife soon. We've been together for 10 years. I have my dog. I have, like so much of my family, my younger siblings, my older ones. I'm taking care of so many different people. But like the end goal is like, hey, still that, right? Like I would drop, and I know this sounds weird, I would drop like everything for just like the streaming goal, not live obviously, and the people who've taken care of me, but like if it meant not having a job, not having money, if there was a way to do that stably, just so I could put more towards my content, I'm like gung ho and like dead on it.
Well, let me tell you this.
There's one last thing really quick. I apologize to interject. I have one of my very long time supporters, Hoge, he's been with me literally since I was first ever on Twitch with like the laptop, like literally like there since the start. Basically, he's like gigantic into stocks and whatnot. He's like, tell you what, if this one stock goes big, I'll donate 5,000. I was like, you do that, I'll take a 3-month leave of absence and do nothing but stream. Like, listen, I'm dead on this. Like, this is my dream and my goal and my everything. Like, it's not about the money. It's not about social status. I don't want a nice car. I don't even want to do it for like the money. Like, if I had ninja money, like I would be like the SpongeBob episode where he's outside giving it away. Like, we have so much, I don't know what to do with, because I don't need a lot. Like, I just want to stream and meet more people and keep doing this. Like, that's all I want to do.
No, man. So what I was going to say was I never was into books or reading. I've always had the mindset of like, I've always been driven. I've always challenged myself, and I've always tried to surround myself with people who are competitive and all that kind of stuff. But recently I've gotten into audiobooks with all the time that I spend on the bike. I'm like, why not kind of double dip, right? Why don't I try to learn? Yeah. And so there's this book that I'm listening to suggested by one of my best friends. It's called Your Money or Your Life. I would suggest that. It's exactly what you're talking about. And what it is it's a book about, it was written in the 90s, but they updated it in like 2011 or 12 or something like that. But it's a bestseller, and what it promotes is financial independence. So it's not like getting rich. It's figuring out how to live doing what you want to do. And it's exactly like what you're talking about. Dude, it is.
Exactly, yeah.
It's been like a month I've been listening to this thing. It's like 15 hours, I think, so I listen to it here or there. But it's honestly like changed my mindset so much that I've adjusted so many of my patterns on a daily basis. And I
man.
think you might like it. I think you might like it. So your money or your life, take it. I don't know if you're listen to audiobooks or whatever, but
No, yeah, I do podcasts, audiobooks, all of that. Yeah, no, that's like I say the same thing all the time. Like money is a means to life. Life isn't a means to money. And like people like often do it the reciprocal way where it's like, oh, I need to go to work so I could pay this bill and then pay off this car note and pay off this and pay off that and pay off this and this card and this debt and this whatever. And it's like, no, like it's literally like I would take literally the bottom dollar that I could possibly work for if it meant that I had each of my bills right on and I could only eat like the same way I used to eat was just like ground beef, rice, and like frozen broccoli and tuna. Like so boring. If it meant I could just do more, if I had meant I had an hour more per day, if I meant I had like a little bit more time to do those things and like, I literally would just call off work, not even on like I'm sick, but just like, hey, I'm just taking a day because it's a really good day out today. And I need this like day. And it's not about the money. It's like, hey, you don't, whatever. No, it's just about the fact that I'm going to continue to live because that's what is most important to me. Like you get one shot. Like, why am I, why am I tied to like 9 to 5? But okay, let me take it really quick. Fishing rod. We're going to reel it back
Going back.
Where that goes back. You asked me what a day in the life is like. So it is pretty much wake up and work until I don't, right? No more detail needs to go into work because it's literally just a way to get money to do life, right? So wake up early, work late, usually about 10, 11 hours a day. After that's done, when I'm home, I try to get some fitness in and I don't have much time. Usually it's like literally like sometimes an hour to eat, get like a small workout in, whatever I can with the tools that I have. Every place is sold out of everything, so it's hard to get like anything you need. But
that's a long day too, man. 10 or 11 hours. I mean, you got to be pretty tired at the end of the day when you come home. Well,
I don't need much sleep. I'm one of those unique people who really doesn't need much. So
that's how I am too.
So I'll get about an hour or so, workout, eat, whatever, right to the stream. Like as soon as I can, try to go about 8 to 9 p.m. I usually go to about 2 a.m. Once that's done, I spend about an hour editing. About 3:30, I get to bed, wake up around 7, shower, back to work, and just like, and that's it. Wow. Wednesdays and Sundays being my only days off. Wednesdays purely for live. We're doing this podcast today, obviously, but we spoke about this and whatnot, and then
which is much appreciated, man. Seriously,
yeah.
You can spend your time doing really anything else, so it's.
I love this kind of stuff. No, I love it. I love being the question answerer too. So, but yeah, so Wednesdays and then Sundays are purely for the community and like doing whatever else I can on Twitch. But it's hard because you spoke earlier about you need people to help, but like besides my one editor. And obviously like I have mods who have helped with Discord and like the stream and everything else. Like I really am like this giant one-man circus. You know what I mean? Like if I'm editing my clips very often because my editor, obviously he's still young. He's still in school doing stuff, family, chores, responsibilities. That's fine. I'm editing, I'm posting, keeping myself on timelines. I'm following minimum. I try to do 50 on each social media every single day. New people, new content creators, checking out their content, reaching out to them because a lot of them need help and a lot of them have likenesses that's things that we like.
That's interesting.
I make sure always because there's so many new content creators who are so good who don't have a chance, and it's like you never know what you're gonna find. Like I literally go by the things that I'm into. So like I'm into Valheim, so I'll search hashtag Valheim streamer or whatever, and then go down the Instagram by recent, not by top, because top's always weird. You go by recent and you go all the way down and you find everyone who posted hashtag Valheim streamer, find them all, check out their content and see like who's doing what and like reaching out to people, talking to new people and seeing that. I'm working a full-time job, obviously taking care of responsibilities at home. I'm, streaming. I'm working on my own merchandise. I'm doing all my own art and logos. I'm doing all my creative video design and everything. It's a lot of this one-man band, but it's also this selfishness of like, you can't do it like me. You know what I mean? It's like I know my vision in my mind, so you can't do the same thing as me. But this is why I'm taking on so much burden. That's why I only get 3 hours of sleep a night. I don't need more. I just need more time to do this.
Well, I mean, what you just went through too, I don't think people really understand how much time and effort goes into. It's not just you turn it on, play video games, and turn it off. That's not what it is.
Oh, that's the worst.
Yeah, when people think it's like, so you just play video games online? Like, oh my God. Like as soon as someone says that, it's like, well, I don't even know where to begin. Like, I'm not even gonna bother.
That's kind of where Ninja started. Ninja started it, but he did so well, and I give him props as being arguably one of the best streamers ever because he set a path for everyone. He really did. Like he showed it that it could be like a contractual thing, just like an NFL star, like an NBA star. Like a streamer can be a contracted job if you work hard enough, and he paved the way for everyone. Now people who never heard of streaming know at least of Twitch, know at least of like whatever else, and they made it easier. But yes, that is a stigma, but one that I've talked about before because I'm like the first one to be like, yeah, I stream. I've been during job interviews, like, where do you see yourself in 5 years? Like Twitch partner. I see that as like my ultimate goal, but like, hey man, like this job pays, so I'm here to work. Like while I'm here, 100%, right?
Yeah,
but
yeah.
like when I'm gone, don't call me, don't talk to me, don't text me. I don't exist. Like I'm working. Like that's the goal, man.
That's so cool, man. I mean, I forgot what I was just. It was one of the books or podcasts or whatever that I was listening to, and they said one of the things that all famous people or not all successful people have in common. It's not, age at which you became successful. It's not your race. It's not your gender. It's not your, privilege or, your upbringing. It's persistence. It's the most successful people never gave up. They were consistent. They were persistently insane about, their passion. And
yeah, man,
it's tough. It's the days that I actually wrote about, and I was going to say this earlier when we were talking about, I forgot exactly what triggered it, but I posted on Instagram today. I mean, I was at the pool. I work out at the Cowboys practice facility. It's pretty cool. It's really nice.
Oh, that's sick, man.
Yeah. And the pool is on the roof, but it's so it's outside. And today was like, I think it was like high 50s when I got in the pool today. So
that's a good day. That's a good day here.
That's a good day there.
Same weather, walking around t-shirts and shorts. So yeah.
Yeah, Texas is cold. But I mean, it was freezing because it was really windy and overcast, and it's just not good swimming weather, But in the caption of the Instagram post today, I was talking about, what's your why? Why do you do what you do? If you don't have that, I am going to be a Twitch partner in 5 years. If you don't have that, well, then it's really easy for you to say, like, if it was just like, I want to be good at streaming. That's not really a defined goal. So those days where you're tired, you could just be like, well, I'm not going to stream today. But if you only streamed or you only, did content creation when you were feeling good or you felt like doing it, well, you're not going to get anywhere. It's that consistency. It's that staying persistent and being fanatical about it.
The fanatical. Yeah, I love that word because it's so stigmatized, but it's not. Like you have to be that way.
Yep.
Like you have to make decisions, like real decisions, and like what I call big boy decisions about things with that in mind. And so many people, like it's with creatives like all the time. You know what I mean? Like Joe Rogan mentioned on his podcast how he ate shit for like 14 years at trying to be a comedian, and then eventually caught his break. And then he started worrying about like his life and like the big boy decisions and what he wants to do and whatnot. It's like you have to be fanatical and want that thing like ceaselessly. But continue on your point. I did see the post, by the way. It did look cool.
Yeah. Well, okay. Well, I was going to tell you. I mean, earlier you mentioned, you've. I think you said like undiagnosed or self-diagnosed, like ADHD or
No, diagnosed, for sure.
I mean, I think I may catch some flack for saying this, but I think you kind of need it to do this kind of stuff. You got to be like, especially with working a full-time job. Like most people that I know work a full-time job, then they go home and like just watch a TV show until they fall asleep, and then it's rinse repeat the next day. And so
that's
on
my
and so
biggest
forth.
fear, man. I'm so afraid of that. I'm so afraid of having nothing, man. I couldn't do it. I'd rather do anything. I'd rather start stacking cards or toothpicks or something like anything than just sit on the couch and just watch TV and do nothing. Like
that's why I feel like a pariah sometimes because I'll meet people or talk to people or I'll be at a group and they're talking about TV shows or like pop culture and I'm just like I don't have time. Like I don't have time to sit around and just watch hours of movies and TV shows and stuff. Like I've never seen an episode of Game of Thrones. Sorry. I mean, I've never seen a lot of this stuff because my free time, you sleep for 4 hours a night. Think about that in terms of like a movie. Sleep is like it's essential to life, right? Like you have to sleep. So you take that concept and you apply that to you only getting like 4 hours a night. That's how you value time. Like that's how precious your time is. So can you imagine just like sitting around for 3.5 hours, like 5 days a week doing nothing? That's insane to me. I can't. I don't get it.
There is a time and a place for sure.
Right.
But the thing is, and here's where and this is an important lesson that I always preach to my community. It has to be a reward. You know what I mean? Like everyone has their vices, right? Everyone's gonna have their beers or their smoke or their sweets or their snacks or their whatever. Everyone's gonna have those things, and like if you totally can cut those out, good for you. But like, there's probably something wrong. Like everyone has a vice that they need to like that they need to get them through it, whether it is TV or whatever it else. You know what I mean? Like everyone has their thing, but earn it.
Yes.
Right? Like earn it. Like do the things you need to do first, and then earn that thing that's totally unnecessary in your day.
Have you ever seen Step Brothers?
Yeah.
As I'm going on a rant about movies, did we just become best friends? Because I always say I use the hashtag all the time. Earn the party. I always say earn the party. Because I'm a drinker. I mean, I'm not ashamed of it.
No, there's nothing to be. No.
I like to go out. There's
some good stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, and but I'll never ever I'll never let it affect my training. So if I have for instance, I was talking with someone about going out during the day for something in a couple weeks, and I have a race the next morning on a Sunday morning, and I'm like, as long as we cut it off by 5, I'm good. I'm not going to go bananas. I'll never let it affect anything that of my goals.
Then you've thrown it, because let's face it, your vice is always. I always say, and it doesn't matter what your vice is. Could be TV show, could be drinking, could be smoking, could be whatever. It's a trade of time, and that's what people don't understand. Like if you drink, you're sacrificing your time now for like time to be drunk and hungover later. You know what I mean? Like there's always a sacrifice. If you smoke, like yes, you get to enjoy that time, but that's time you could have been productive. Mm-hmm. And so you're basically selling time for this brief moment. It's transactional.
Yeah.
So if you're willing to make that transaction, earn the right to, because don't make that transaction when you're already at a deficit of time. And now you're spending even more. You're just putting yourself in this responsibility debt in which you can't get back from very easily. Now you have that bill you had to pay, but now you have that late notice, which means you have to take money from that bill. Now you got this and that, and all this other stuff. It all starts to accumulate and become this snowball. When it's like, all right, let's take care of A, B, and C first, and once we do that, like we're done. Like
it's so interesting, man, when you say that, because that book I just referenced, really the foundation of the book is time is your greatest resource. I mean, that's everything that you do is, you're sacrificing your time, which is your greatest resource. And they said I forgot the exact statistic, but it's something like when you're 40 years old, you have about, statistically speaking, 150,000 hours left, or whatever age they're going off of. But what a unique way, or just a different perspective to look at life. It's like, would you sacrifice, if you go out and spend, I don't know, say you make $10 an hour. I don't know. Obviously, you're not doing it. But if you're making $10 an hour and you go out and spend $100, well, was that worth 10 hours of your work? And it really changes the way that you view the world and your transactions and how haphazard you're spending money. I mean, I looked at my bank statement and I went through and canceled all the subscriptions I'm not, using. I was spending $100 a month on things that I wasn't even using.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah,
100%.
it's crazy, and it's because I eventually would love to. I'm going more like the YouTube route because I do a lot of IRL stuff. I go around the world with racing, and I compete at all these different events and stuff like that, and that's why I'm really learning the production type stuff, and I want to take people on the journey. And
I wish that was more my passion. Twitch is so taxing on time, man. YouTube's like you do something and then it's like you take your time, but Twitch is like every day, all day. I just need to figure out a way to juice the content better. But continue. I'm sorry. You're on YouTube way.
No, and you know what? Honestly, man, I'm kind of the reverse. I'm pretty envious of people like you on Twitch, and just the consistency. I can't. My life is just so all over the place. I can't stick to a schedule. I have to kind of all right. I have an hour and a half here to ride my bike. I got to do this now. So that's been my biggest problem so far is trying to find a consistent schedule in which to do it. But I forgot where I was going with that point. But time. Yeah. So I think a lot of people don't realize how important a schedule is, or how important planning your day is, or reverse engineering what your goals are. I don't think too many people do that like you.
Yeah, well, it's also mind you, like I'm in a constant state of disarray, but it all gets done, and that's part of like the ADHD because it's like I have a lot of stuff that's kind of done. It's like, but the thing is that makes it exciting because I'm constantly continuing on a project, and that's why I say like my biggest fear is being like the couch sitter, like the 5 hours of like whatever else. Today is obviously Wednesday, so today's the day I hang out with Liv, and if we so choose to watch a movie or something, I've understood that today's my day to kind of be like that.
Mm-hmm.
But like I can't see like, all right, I got to stream, but there's a new episode of that. Like that kills me because it's like, hey, I got this hour. Like I've been meaning to knock out that one emote. I've been meaning to, for example, I just had to redo my graphics down a smaller size because it was cutting into a new game. I play the overlay at the top, so I had to reformat it so it still looked good, but was also a bit more adaptable. And it's like I could do that, or I could watch an episode of something. And it's like I would never want to be the episode of something over the thing I need to get done first. But all that stuff's all over the place. Like my merch store, I had to fire Teespring. I wish I could say it's actually firing them, but they're just useless. And it's because it's so stupid. They've copyrighted like 9 of my designs and said like they're like my designs are stolen. And I can provide the proof, the PDF file, like the PSD file of like me creating everything by hand, but they keep saying that like the designs are too good, so I have to put in an appeal. The appeal takes like 2 weeks, and then they deny the appeal, so I appeal again, and then they let it go. Yeah, like my best designs, like one of my favorite ones is the Flex Hazy design, where it says Flex in this different coloration that makes it look kind of 3D and trippy. I loved making that design; it was super cool, and they instantly copyrighted it. So what I did was I made like a flash sale. I let everyone know as soon as I was putting it up. Put it up, sold like 20, and then they copyrighted it again. They took it down. They said it was copy strike.
What the hell? That's nuts.
It's so crazy. Yeah, they won't let me keep my design, so I have to find a new design company to do any of my merch. But speaking of which, as well, the merch is all at zero cost. So like, if there is anything you ever saw through my merch, I make no profit on anything. Everything's exactly as cheap as Teespring will allow me to make it because I don't care about. It's not about the money. Again, that's so useless to me. It's just about like cool representation, like stuff I would wear, like being out there. But yes, Teespring's awful. So I gotta.
That's crazy. Well, I'll tell you what, man. This is another thing that I do with every one of my episodes here is when we get off, when we're done, after I produce it, I like to put links to all of your stuff. So, send me all the links to everything, your store, and any other people that you like gain inspiration from as well, because that's the whole point of this is for someone to maybe that's thinking about getting into it and is in the same kind of realm as you but has different ideas and like, oh, I want to get into this, where do I get started, or let me get inspiration. So yeah, we'll put all that in the show notes for sure, because I think that helps. There's just so many moving parts to everything, and that's what I like. I love the idea of creative juices. Like, there's so many different ways to release them, and like I find myself just like when I was swimming today, I'm just thinking about a million different. Oh, I could do this. Oh, I could do this. I could, I could add this to the stream, or when I'm producing the video, what about this transition, or you keep unlocking a door to unlock like 5 more options, and then you go in one of those doors and there's 20 more options. You go in one of those doors, and it feels like this never ending. I think it helps drive that fanaticism that I think we both have.
Yeah, well, that's also where we go back to where I said like fitness ties into that so well, because fitness does help like kind of get those creative thoughts going more. It keeps you on a positive thinking path with those thoughts instead of negative thinking. Because like, again, and I'm not trying to harp on it too much, but that couch potato lifestyle, it doesn't mean that you're any more or less creative if you work out, but you usually think about it in a more positive way. Like, after you watch a bunch of shows, you're like, oh, I could have got that done. But, you try to rationalize like the decision. When you're working out, you're like, I can't wait to get to those things now. You know what I mean? You never look back at that moment or that time spent as like a regret. It's always like, I'm glad I did this and I'm going to do this. Yeah. As opposed to like, well, I could have been doing that, but whatever else, like that sad sack stuff, man. I don't know. I don't got time for that. Like, life's so cool, man. Like there's no reason to ever be like, I rarely ever get down just because, like, again, life's just way too cool, man. There's so much to do, and like, I don't know. It's fun.
It's contagious, and I think motivated people are contagious, and I like being that in my little community. I like being that. Holy shit, you ran that 4x4x48 challenge, you're nuts. I love when someone calls you nuts. I don't know if you get this a lot, but I get called crazy all the time, and I wear that as a badge of honor, because that means that I'm willing to do stuff that others aren't. And,
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, like I said, I got exhausted just even reading your post. Like that's even watching. I mean, that's just so crazy, man. But it's also like people setting like those weird expectations of what's impossible until it's beaten, and then it's like, oh, it's not. Like this person just did this thing.
Everything's impossible until someone does it,
Exactly. Yeah. And I don't know, man. That's why I don't like the hindrance. But like, I also stay in my lane. It's like just because someone can do something or it seems impossible. Like, yes, it kind of worked with the gym where I was like, well, this seems tough, but like, I'm sure I could do it because if this person could do it, then I could do it. Same thing with podcasts and everything.
Yeah.
But I also am just like, yeah, I could probably eventually do that, like 48 by 4 by, but like, I don't know, like that's not my thing that I'm gonna conquer. I'm glad there's yous in the world doing that, so I can appreciate that it's doable, but not do it myself.
Well, that goes to, and we sound like a couple bros, constantly talking about Joe Rogan here, but it was a big turning point in my life. I was 29 and my dad passed away, and it was about the same time that I was getting into triathlon. I've told the story a million times, so I won't tell it again. But
I've never heard it. Let's hear it.
Okay, well, I was 29 and I played football. I played pro indoor football in Buffalo. I played semi-pro for the Buffalo Gladiators, and then I played arena football for the Buffalo Lightning. And I was getting old, and I'm like, old as in football old. I was like 28, 29, and I was just. It was too much for me. It was like my weekends were spent traveling, and my workouts or my practices were after work, and it was just too much. So at the job that I worked, they have a big, the corporate challenge is a huge event in Buffalo in Delaware Park, right in the middle of the city, and it's this huge event where all the different corporations race, and I was not in 3.5 mile. It was a little over a 5K, so 3.5 miles, and I was not in any kind of shape to be doing that, but I did it, and I did it under a half hour, which for me was, I was very proud of. And then I caught the bug, like right there. I started, that ADHD or whatever you want to call it in me. I just was like, well, if I could do that with no training, what could I do with training? And then it was just a slippery slope, and then I discovered triathlon. It was actually through gaming. And this, I always like to say this story just because I think it shows the positive effect of gaming. I don't know, are you a GTA guy?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah,
so I was playing GTA 5 when it first came out. And in it, you can do a triathlon. And in real time, it takes like a half hour to do the triathlon. So you're swimming across the lake just hitting X for 20 minutes. And while I'm doing that, I'm like, well, I was the captain of my swim team in high school. I'm liking this running, and anyone can buy a bike, right? So, or anyone can ride a bike. So I called my dad. I'm like, hey, Dad, I want to get into triathlon. Like, I think this is like my next, endeavor here. And I was like, I don't have, the money to drop like $1,500 in a bike. Would you be able to buy me one, and I'll pay you like monthly or whatever? So he bought it for me on St. Patrick's Day, right around this time in 2016, about 5 years ago. And he got it for me, and then, the next month he passed away, and he never got to see me do a race. So that bike, meant the world to me. And
of course.
Was just, drove me to try even harder. Not that I wasn't going to try hard, but, now it was just like a lunatic about, doing well at it. And then I wound up eventually, the end of the year, like making Team USA, the rest is history. So, but anyway, that all of that was happening at the same time that I was like changing my mindset in terms of like, I started to listen to a lot more podcasts and, books and stuff like that. And this is a long-winded way to get to the point that I was trying to make, but
again, nothing but time, man.
Rogan, one of the things that he always mentions that really resonated with me was he said, he's aware that he's nuts, and he's aware that like he has to hone his mindset in terms of like, I can't do everything all the time. Like for instance, I think, and it's because of him and others like Cam Hanes, I think archery is a really cool endeavor. I love that. I just don't have the time to add another thing because I get obsessed with stuff. I don't just casually do stuff. Yeah. So I have to like be self-aware of like, like I just started taking magic lessons. Like, why? But I'm like
Yeah.
really into it.
You have fun, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's so, yeah, like it's little things like that. It's the challenging yourself, but it's also like the fun endeavor. And like, one thing that I love her to death, but one of her biggest things, that's, I would say, like probably her biggest fatal flaw, is if she's not like immediately good at something, she gets kind of like discouraged and like and loses interest. But I'm like, no, like, listen, like it's as simple as like, I don't know, like kind of a true story, but not juggling with eggs. Like I can juggle, but I started with eggs because it's like way more consequence. But like I had no reason to. I'm no practical application, but it looked cool and I'd learned it in a day. It's like, what I mean? And it's fun to have those kinds of obsessions. You're absolutely right. You have to hone it in and like angle it, almost like taking all of the sun's light and putting it into a magnifying glass and burning one spot to the ground. Like that's kind of how you have to be. But the hard part is people like us, we happen to have a lot of magnifying glasses and not enough sunlight. And so we want to burn so many spots, and you can't do it. But I think I wouldn't be happy otherwise. If it was just one thing, I wouldn't be satisfied.
That's right. No, that's right, man. I think me and you have a lot in common. It's always refreshing meeting someone who shares a similar kind of mindset, because my fiance puts up with a lot. That's what I was gonna ask you. Like,
yeah,
your girlfriend, man, she sounds pretty understanding that you work all day and then you come home and you stream. It sounds like she supports you, especially because you've been doing this for so long that obviously she's not going anywhere.
Yeah. So we actually met so long ago. We've been together for 10 years. So but obviously, like, we were way younger, so like it kind of 10 years is like relative. When you meet someone, I feel like I'm using terms younger and older, it's all relative. But I feel like when you meet someone high school era versus when you meet someone, full-time job era, 10 years is two different things. Like high school era is like, I don't know, it's not as serious because you're still young and whatever else. But yeah, I've like been this crazy since we met. We actually met when I was homeless. Actually, it was her family that took me in when I had nowhere to go, right?
Wow,
and it was
story.
yeah. And so so her family took me in, obviously, sleeping total opposite sides of the house, like don't even go near each other kind of thing. And then we eventually just grew and closer and closer, and we've been together in love ever since. But the part of our relationship that's always been great is the mutual support of each other in our ups and downs. I've always been clear, like, hey, listen, like, if it's going to be me, you're not going to have an easy relationship. Like, you could have regular old Kyle who just sits there and works in IT, makes $50,000 a year, maybe will propose after 4 years. You have 2 kids and you live a boring life watching TV at the end of the day. Or you have someone who's not going to stop chasing this dream and takes you on every adventure that comes with it, but it might not be your cookie cutter pacing of life,
Yep.
Like, we can't even have the conversation of kids when things like TwitchCon exists. It's like, hey, we could think about kids or marriage, or we could spend a couple thousand, go to California, like whatever else. And that kind of stuff, it's like a totally different conversation. But she's been down for it all. She did beauty school, and I pretty much, I'm not taking full credit because there's a lot of shift and dichotomy, but I let her leave her job. I paid for everything, helped her pay for tuition. She went to school. She did everything cosmetology and lashing. And then for a while, I took some time off. I had my money. I paid my own bills, but, she kind of took care of everything while I streamed a little bit. That was the Mixer thing, because I did take a different leave of absence at that time to stream a Mixer and do that nonstop. Rip Mixer, they closed down, so it was all a waste of time. But it did help solidify. But yeah, she's been 100% gung-ho on everything. And at first it was tough. Obviously, I think for everyone who's as crazy as we are, like, it's tough because they deserve the world and all the attention. But it's like, listen, as much as I want to give you that, like, there's this selfish creative in me that just needs to do this. And I would be a shell of myself if I was the 9-to-5 parent guy who just didn't celebrate any of his creativity. I wouldn't even want to be around. I wouldn't want to exist. I'll try again next life.
Oh man, I tell you, we have so much in common. I was that 9-to-5 guy, and that's actually where I met my fiance. And we were both miserable and had been for, I don't know, maybe a year and a half, 2 years at this job. And my dad passing away was a real catalyst, because he worked his whole life. He was a truck driver, and he had to retire early because of back issues. And then a year after he retired, he died. So literally worked his entire life, wacky hours, driving all over the place. For what? to
Yeah.
enjoy, and quote unquote enjoy retirement. His
my
back was
God.
a disaster,
Yeah,
and then so that like just like that
biggest fear.
it at that time, I felt like my life was gaining momentum in terms of like it wasn't even streaming wasn't even a thought to me, but it was the triathlon stuff. I was really starting to like get a passion for that, and when that happened, I'm just like, you know what? I'm chasing my dreams, man. And that growth mindset is something that I think people just lose for some reason. I don't understand why people think that like you said, time is relative and age is just a number. I know these things sound like really cliche to say, but like
No, there's arbitrary.
when I meet someone who's 30, 35, and they just go, I'm old. Like, what are you talking about? Like, you've like 40 years left, 50. What are you talking about?
Yeah, your whole man.
That's nuts to me. I don't know. It's crazy.
It's so crazy. Well, the thing is, so many people spend so much time lying to themselves. They sit there and they lie to themselves about their contention in their situation. Like, yeah, I could do this, right? Like, in obviously, like what happened with your dad, obviously it must have been extremely difficult. But that's, like I said, my biggest fear. Like, you live this contention and you do this thing, and then poof, it's all over, and it's like, what was it for?
Right.
Like, I never want to be at the end, the finish line, and be like, what was it for? Like, I want to know now, and then devote myself to that, like good or bad. Like, I want to continuously like drive myself in that direction.
Yeah, man.
And here's the thing: if you're one of those people who just like, it's all you can do to work and go home and watch TV, that's fine, right? I get it. Some people have their own things going on where maybe like that's legitimately all they can do, and that's fine. I will never harp on you for that. If you ever want help, I 100% devote myself to you. Like, I will do anything I can. I'll get you out there. If you don't want the help, I'm not going to bother you. But it's when you're satisfied with that, and then you start trying to poke at the people who are like the crazy people.
Yeah.
Like, that's when it gets bothersome to me, because it's like, wait a second, I accepted you doing nothing.
You're right.
You should accept me doing everything. Like, there can't be you do nothing and then you say like, oh, you're a tryhard, you're this, you're that. It's like
that always drives me nuts. Like when are you going to grow up, or when are you going to get a, like that kind of stuff. Just like,
oh my God, who sets a
that?
time?
Yeah.
Who sets a time on that?
Yeah.
Like again, here we are again, back to Joe Rogan. But like, there's no time on this stuff. Like, you never know. You could be 35, 45, 55. You hit your break and then you go, and then it's like, there's who's putting these arbitrary numbers on what generates your like, if I'm happy doing like, then I'm obviously not struggling for money or anything. I'm well off. I really am. Super well off. Well-paying job. Liv has a well-paying job. Very well off. Very comfortable with their money. If I wanted to go down to scrounging for money just so I could not work as much and stream more, who's to say I'm making a bad decision if I'm genuinely happy every day, like doing what I want to do in my life? And like that's the thing. Like, there's no timeline on this stuff. There's no. I don't know. What's
funny is we so I was gonna work when I left Buffalo, where I'm originally from, we left because I got the job in Major League Soccer, and I wanted to work in pro sports. And my fiance was just like I told you, she was miserable in her job, and I had left that same job. That's where we met, and I was 30 and she was 26 when that happened. And no, 20, I don't know, whatever. I was 32 and she was 28. And, in the world that we had existed in, to change a career at that age, you're nuts. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man.
And we had never been to Texas before. Me and Jenny had never been to Texas. I mean, she was in Houston, but that's 4 or 5 hours away from here. Yeah. We'd never been to visit, to scope out our apartment, nothing. We just got in the truck, got in the U-Haul, and just got in it and went to Texas. And
just did it.
And moved. And, fast forward to 2021, that was 2018. We walk around, and I live in downtown Frisco Square, it's called, and it's like 40 minutes north of Dallas, and there's the soccer stadium across the street, and it's everything's brand new and gorgeous, and I'd say almost daily, me and my fiance are walking the dogs, and we look around and just like, can you believe we live here? And it's because of those risks that you take. It's because
Yeah,
of those.
man.
If we could still be sitting there and we could still be, miserable 9 to 5, driving, to work a half hour to a job we don't like, and I mean, you take that and talk about like with the triathlon stuff with me. I proposed to her at the World Championships in Switzerland last year. If I played it safe, that doesn't exist. That's never going to happen,
Yeah.
So that's
what, local park? Yeah, no, I'm with you, man. I remember. I'm probably whatever. I don't even know if I could. It doesn't even matter if I could talk about it or not. I remember, dude, I was at Geico. I worked there, and I was doing insurance for a while, and I was making like, this is an old job. I was making like really good money. Like,
dude, you
really
worked
good.
at Geico. I worked at Geico.
I had been there for a couple of years. I made like at the time like 26 or 27 an hour, like something high, and I remember like I had a conversation with my supervisor and they were like, listen, like I'm going to be like, they like in the coffee room, bro, which is so crazy. Like, I swear to God, in the coffee room, because every day I'd be there, I'd be doing my job, but I'd also be doing like all my other social media stuff. And this was legitimately right before Mixer. And this is what's so crazy about it all, like the timeline of it all, right? I was on Twitch and I was doing the Rust stuff and I was like not as happy. I kind of mixed some Fortnite in and I was really tired of these games. And I remember like, I was like, man, I want to hear about this. They were talking about Mixer kind of getting some hype and all this other stuff. And I was telling Liv about how like miserable I was at my job every day. Cause every day was just the most like bland, like no communication, whatever else. And I was in the coffee room with my supervisor and she was like, listen, you got a lot going for you. Leave the company now.
That's crazy.
And I was like, what? She was like, I have a mortgage and 2 kids. I'm stuck. I can't leave.
And there was a lot of that there.
Leave. And I was like, what? She's like, leave. And I was like, all right. You know what I mean? Like, listen, life can't make a clear message ever.
Right?
Like, ever. So here's the thing. At the point in time, if you know about Geico, you know profit sharing.
Yep.
I'd gotten
that just happened, I think.
I'd gotten fat taxes, profit sharing. I'd gotten a couple of things. And I was like, all right, I'm done. Like, I'm going to take a leave from work. I left work. I started on Mixer and I grinded nonstop, which partially, I believe, led to my success because every day I was doing 14-hour streams.
Wow.
Every single day. And
That's
I would
crazy.
stream nonstop. I was always live. Like if you went on Mixer, you were going to see me whether you wanted to or not. Like, I was always there, like 100%. And I loved it, and it was so good, man. And I was having the best time of my life. Every day was hot. I was talking to these partners. I put in my partnership application because their partnership application was time gated. You couldn't do it on. It wasn't like Twitch where it's like view count and everything else. It was like you have to be here for like X amount of months and whatever else. And so I had just got to the point where I could apply, and I was having the best time of my life. Like, I was getting enough money from stream to be able to stream it just on like streaming alone.
Wow.
Everything was going good. And then Mixer shut down. And it was like my money that I had from everything from Geico was like, I was starting to hit the end of that. Mixer shut down. And I was like, fuck. Like this, like and again, 2 days before my birthday. And I'm sitting here, it's like, oh, this is awful. So I completely I took like a month off of everything, no stream, no nothing. And I really had to think like what was my next move because
like a regroup,
Mixer offered me partnership on Facebook. So I could go right to Facebook Gaming as a partner and start off there with everyone else. Or I could go to Twitch and start where I was, tail between my legs, because I had left Twitch.
Right. Decided
to go Twitch route, tail between my legs. And I'm getting growth. But man, when you were used to getting like triple digit viewer counts going to like 12 some days, it's such like a bad feeling because like the transition rate wasn't easy. Like bringing people over wasn't easy to go from like one to another. Like even trying to get people from Twitch to watch YouTube stuff, it's like if they don't go on YouTube often, as Twitch is where they like and to enjoy their content, then like who am I to tell them they're wrong or not? Same thing with like the TikTok and the Twitter and everything else. But man, like when I tell you like when you have to take those life decisions, and so that's where I came earlier to hit on a touch earlier. I had the one viewer who told me that if they hit it big in the stocks and things go the way they wanted to, they had joked and said they were going to donate 5,000. I was like, you do that, I'm taking a 3-month leave of absence off work, and that's it. Like, I'll literally just leave work because I will not do anything if I have a chance to do this, I'll do this 100% of the time. Doesn't matter.
See, I was just getting into streaming like last, I think May is when I really started to like get into it and really try to focus, hunker down, and learn. And when this Mixer thing happened, I know a lot of people, I mean, that I was following and stuff that it really affected. I mean, your story times however many people were on Mixer. I mean, that's tough because Ninja did the same thing, right? Didn't he leave Twitch to go to Mixer and then
That was the first ever gaming contract that ever happened in the world. Ninja to Mixer. He
Really?
got
Okay.
He got, what was it, 30 million for like 2 years or something.
Wow.
It was like a gaming, yeah, and he got the money and got out. How crazy is that? Before he got the money and got out.
That's
But
crazy.
listen, what's so crazy though about Mixer was like there was people, like I have another friend who like I feel so bad for to this day, and we still talk sometimes, but not the same way. We were like literally like two peas in a pod. His name was Reckless Brown. And he had gotten hosted by Ninja. I never got hosted by anyone like that, like
Wow.
Ninja, but he got hosted by Ninja for thousands of viewers, got thousands of followers, and literally went from like a 2-viewer stream or like a pretty decent viewer stream to like 100 to like 200 a day, like every day,
Holy
like
cow.
overnight, and was riding this high and was like so good. And then Mixer shut down, and he did the same thing I did, where he went back to Twitch, and it's just not the same. And it's not.
I am so sorry about that, everybody. My computer just said we need to update right now. Go to hell if you think otherwise. So, yeah, that's what happened. So I'm sorry about that. It just went out. So, good thing we're video editing this, huh?
Yeah, the editing will be good here.
Yeah.
No, I think I got it back up live. Let me see. Yeah, this is live. All right, let me copy this link.
All right, so finish up what you were saying. I think I started losing you when we were talking about Ninja contract, Mixer. I think we were right around there when I lost you.
Yeah, so basically the whole thing about. Oh, let me just jump off Ninja. No, it was talking about my buddy there for a moment.
That's right, the $5,000. That's right.
Yeah, well, yeah. So, well, no. Even further back, I was my buddy. Reckless Brown, who got hosted by Ninja and then Mixer
That's
closed
right.
him
That's right. I'm sorry.
and ruined him. Yeah. So that's what threw me through a loop, was the fact that he had an opportunity and Mixer closing down ruined that for everybody. And how so many people had to come to Twitch. And like, for example, there's this dude Arcanaut who streams on Twitch whose quality, like I watch his, like he's one of the people who I watch his stream, and because I think this question needs to be asked by everybody and answered, and I actually got a lot of flack for this one time. But ask yourself if you think that you would watch, if somebody would watch your stream over that stream. If you can't answer yes, then back to the drawing board, right? And I feel like that's important for everyone to ask themselves with all their content. If two videos were side by side, why would somebody click yours over that one? And he's one of the people who I struggle to create an answer for because he's so damn entertaining. I mean, when he's live, he is on fire. Same thing with people like Dr. Disrespect. Same thing with people like there's so many of them, but it's like they go live and they're so heat, and you just watch it, and you're just like, man,
Captivating.
like,
They got the it factor.
they're bringing it to the table,
Yeah.
and I aspire to do the exact same thing myself. It's not always easy because I like to stream long, so sometimes somebody will follow hour 7 of my stream, and I'm like, hey, what's up? How you doing today? And I'm like already kind of tired, but the first 2 hours I'm like fireworks and like
To the
everything's
moon.
going crazy. Yeah. So, but he Arcanaut, again, was rivaling Ninja in views on Mixer, and he gets about 100 now on Twitch. And it's like he was getting
What?
thousands before. Yeah.
Holy cow.
And that's what hit everyone. That's why it crushed everybody, because like, okay, you could go to Facebook Gaming where literally your mom could stop by your stream halfway through and ask you if you took the dogs out.
Yeah.
and anyone who follows is using their real name. Part of what's good about online is anonymity. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like people in my community who go by their monikers, I value those because they don't have to give their information. Neither do I.
Yeah.
Let's all have our privatized online life, because honestly, you put yourself out on the table, and if people don't like it, at least it's not because they have to like you. But Facebook Gaming uses all personal information. It's kind of weird. Their numbers are skewed. Their analytics are stacking. So your view count is like based on like your month, not like each day and each session. So it's like there's so much weird stuff that I don't necessarily like about it, that I chose to go back to Twitch, but it's so much harder for everyone who is afflicted by that, for sure.
That's really interesting. I never really thought about Facebook like that, but that's a great point. Yeah, that's definitely right. What do you think about I don't even know how to say it. I've only seen it written. Glimesh?
Glimesh.
Glimesh? Yeah.
I'm laughing at that. It's so all right. I think it's dumb. And here's why I think it's dumb. Because people are looking at it as if it's Mixer too, but it's not. Mixer had one thing that nobody will ever have again. And that's that they had direct Microsoft integration. Meaning that if you just bought an Xbox, it was your first day opening your Xbox, and you just went to your home screen after going through the setup, there was a Mixer embed sitting right in front of your face, whether you wanted to or not. And so they automatically create everyone with an Xbox and Mixer account. So as soon as you go to Mixer, you already have an account set up for yourself. They like pre-make a name, and so you could get more people watching your streams directly through their Xbox integration.
Oh, that's interesting. I didn't know that.
That's what was so beautiful about it. Because like you'd literally be able to log on to an Xbox, and then right in front of you was a Mixer streamer, sometimes me, sometimes Arcanaut, sometimes Tonesy, sometimes Ninja, sometimes Shroud, whoever it might be, flavor of the day, whatever else. And they literally like follows right there. They can click it, then they're in. They can chat, everything else. They can do this, the sparks, the embers, everything at that point in time. You know, Twitch bits and subscribers and things like that. They can do it all there, like right from their Xbox homepage, and very easily too. And then transport that to desktop if they so chose to. But Glimesh is just another streaming platform. So yes, could somebody like myself, and I'm not saying this in a braggadocious way, but I'm saying this because I have a proven formula for how I stream and do my content creation. Could I probably go to Glimesh, rise to one of the top streamers on Glimesh, and sit on that? Sure. But what does that net me, right? How many people are actively seeking out Glimesh? It's hard enough to get people to care about Twitch, and they're backed by Amazon.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
YouTube obviously has the Microsoft integration, but it's also kind of its own thing.
Right.
It's less with the Microsoft integration. So what does Glimesh have that's really going to give me confidence that my content is going to relate to value, right? If I came to a brand with the same numbers I had on Twitch and said I had them on Glimesh, is that brand more likely to care about it? Because analytically, I could say I have 36,000 views on Twitch and 36,000 views on Glimesh. Which one do they care about more, though?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Which Twitch is a reputable company, backed, and they understand it. Glimesh is just this random run-of-the-mill thing that's on the block, and people think they're going to get that same community love that they got from Mixer. But let me tell you, Mixer was different because people wanted to help each other. There wasn't this stigma with hosting someone. You wanted to share your community and meet new communities and do that. On Twitch, it's dog-eat-dog world. You enjoy what you got. You don't really want to share it because by doing that, every day is just like this fighting game to be on the top. You know, you shouldn't care. And I see this all the time. I never had this issue myself because I don't really care. But I see it all the time with people who, while they're streaming, check their other friends' viewer accounts.
That's crazy.
And like those, yeah, it's like because it's like this, like almost like, oh, you know, they're at 17 today, huh? Well, you know, what are they doing? What are they? It's like, mind your business. Like, do you like? Why aren't you at 17 today?
The minute you start worrying about like, you know, I am very baseline. Like, I do this for the pure enjoyment of it. I'm trying to find my own voice, my own rhythm here, but you can't get caught up. And if you start thinking about like a direct relationship to what you did that day, to that viewer count that day, that doesn't seem like a very successful formula. I mean,
it's an unhealthy mindset. I never look at my viewer count. It's so toxic because it literally it's weighs on you. No one's immune to it. I mean, like, a lot of people say don't read the comments. I never have an issue with that because I only post, like, whenever I talk to people, I like on Twitter, I'll never post like a serious personal opinion. Yeah. Sometimes about something pop culture, but I'll never be like, guys, I'm having a bad day today. I popped my tire or whatever. Because, like, who cares? Like, I'm an entertainer. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, none of that means anything. And so, like, anytime I do post in comments, it's always like a meme. Like, it's always a joke because I don't care enough to like get wrapped up in that stuff. But things like viewer count and stuff like that will hit you. Like, that does bother you so much, and it will distract you from giving your all to your stream. Like, every moment should be something that if someone came in right at that second, same thing with YouTube and like maximizing your time and editing and everything else. Every moment should be if someone came in right that second, you want to watch it. Yeah. One of the things people will tell you, anyone who's successful on TikTok says instantly, the first piece of advice, make the first second captivating immediately. Right off the bat, because if someone scrolls and it's 5 seconds of you sitting there, it's boring. But as soon as you scroll, it's like, yo, we just did, boom, like you're already in. Now it's like, let's see where this leads.
Yeah.
And you don't even mean to. It's a conscious thing. It's like a trigger in your head. It's like, oh, let's get that serotonin really quick.
And that's where that creativity, I think, that I was talking about earlier. That's what I love about, like, starting to get fall in love with the video editing. It's, you can make I could give you a stream, me a stream, like the same stream, give it to 10 different
Yeah.
people, and they're going to produce it 10 different ways, and someone's going to produce a really captivating, fun, entertaining, clip, and someone's going to produce, some monotonous, kind of hodgepodge, and that's what I love about it is the creativity, to pursue your own voice and express yourself in your own way. It's something that none of this has existed before. Like, this is so cool to me, this whole world.
Yeah, I like that. I like that too. It's definitely forefront, born, too soon to explore the world, too late to explore space, or too early to explore space, too late to explore the world, but just enough to explore like online and like be on the forefront of this stuff. And like it's crazy because all this stuff is archived now. So it's like years from now, like we will be the first people to like be doing this stuff. And even though there's millions of people doing it now because access to everything is so much easier, it doesn't mean that anyone is less important. Everyone who puts their heart out for their content is incredibly invaluable and priceless in the sense that they gave their time to their dream and passion. And look at like, I know this sounds weird, but like look at painters back in the day who literally had no success during their entire life, and like 1,000 years after they were dead, their paintings are like hung up all over the world and they're praised and everything. Like, I'm not saying like that's a good fate for anyone, but like it's kind of one of those things where
you put it out there. Yeah,
you have to put your stuff out there, and you never know when that one thing is going to be the one that gets you.
Yeah, I've been like, you're obviously like a wealth of knowledge with all this stuff, and I can only aspire to know like a fraction of what you know. But it's that pursuit of knowledge. And one of the audiobooks I listen to is YouTube Growth, for 2021. And one of the things that the woman in the book was talking about was she creates, every time you create a video or a piece, don't just go through the motions. Don't just make a piece to make it. I mean, you always want to make it, like you said, captivating, make it interesting. You put it against someone else's. Why would someone watch yours as opposed to theirs? If the answer's, well, you don't have a reason. Well, back to the drawing board, all that kind of stuff. And she was saying some of her first videos are still, getting tons of views 7, 8, 10 years later after the fact. And I think it goes to that point that you're saying. If you create captivating stuff, people will continue to draw from it, and that's the point of this podcast. I don't care how many people are watching. I don't know how many people are watching. I don't have it up. The point is, at some point, someone comes across this, identifies with you, and inspires them to pursue their passions and their goals, and that's really all I'm really looking to do. And eventually, along the way, if I were to able to do this full time, I mean, hell yeah, let's go. But
but you never get there without. Now to that point though, just one little footnote, there is such a great value in content recycling. Like, one stream should, like, for example, one person who I admire who does this is Ludwig, who posts his stream VODs and like literally does it like per stream. So it's difficult because I stream, again, very long hours. When you're famous partnered streamers, a lot of them only do like 3 hours a day. So it's a lot easier to take that content and then move it. But for someone like me, like I actually plan on doing this, is creating a separate channel just for VODs. And then like literally after a stream ends, just putting the VOD up there. Who knows, right?
Yeah.
Who knows who it might captivate in the future. And it might even just be like an archive system for myself. But like a Twitch stream should be like multiple clips, a VOD, potentially one story segment that is like editable into like a 14-minute YouTube video, at least like 4 or 5 TikToks, like Instagram posts, reels, everything else. Like the content should trickle down, but you should go into it with the thought that everybody, your content should be crucial. It should be the stuff that you value the most about yourself, which is why, I will end my stream with like 30 or 40 clips some days, and only 2 make it up, because I'm very critical of like what I think is like actually worth the time to put out there and worth the editing and whatnot. And eventually I'm going to get to doing more things like that Joe Rogan thing. I put a lot of time into that. Like I said, recording's still my biggest weakness in the world, and I'm still so bad at it, but I'm going to get myself out there. I don't know why that happens. It's the weirdest thing in the world. I get so like shy when I have to be like, okay, guys, today we're going to do this.
It's so weird, man. It's weird. It's just it's a bizarre concept to talk, into a camera and look at yourself and hear yourself talk. I mean, that was a big sticking point for me when this first started. Is I started to hear myself and I'm like, oh my God, because my accent and everything, I'm like, I sound like a little kid. I sound like a moron. But I'm like, you know what? You just gotta have not even thick skin. Just don't care. It's like
streaming. It's so easy, but the recording's just like I wish I like. I don't know what it is. Like there's probably something in some blocker in my brain that's stopping it. But as soon as I have to click record, I start getting sweat, like really like shaky and like super uncomfortable. But when it comes down to like doing a Twitch stream, like I said, like I'd show my bare ass. Like I don't care. Like I'd put it all out there. Like it doesn't matter to me. I'll do anything because I'm never afraid to do that. And I think it's just because like I've always set my mind to do that. And the fact that like other content has to be done,
Yeah.
and that's a necessary step for growth. I accept it, but I don't accept it. I wish that you could just get famous off of streaming. If you could just get famous off streaming, 100% I'd be happy, but you need to do those other avenues to really get people to find you.
Yep.
And I hate doing that. Like that's my biggest fear.
Dude, you stole the words out of my mouth. After I did that challenge last weekend, I ran my 48th mile. I got it done. I don't know if you saw, chugged a Truly or a Vizzy right afterwards.
Yeah.
And in the world of anyone who isn't outside of this world, it's like, okay, he was done there. But nope, I immediately, you got to strike while the iron's hot, because I had live streamed it, and I went home and I immediately had to post some stuff, and I was with my friends. I'm like, you got to just give me like 15 minutes to just get some content out there on social media, because this is the last leg that it's timely, and there's just, like you said, I hate that shit too. I was like, as I was doing it, I'm like, I freaking hate this tedious, like, kind of what's the word I'm looking for, like shameless, like self-promotion, but it's necessary.
Yeah, it is. And it's so uncomfortable. I hate it. I like even on stream, like with things like donations and stuff, like I tell people, like, listen, you don't have to, like, this content is free. It's just what I like to do. Like this content is free. If you subscribe, if you donate, trust me, it all goes right back into the content one way or another, whether it's an upgrade for my PC, whether it's a giveaway in the future, whether it's whatever. I don't touch my stream, because it goes to a Streamlabs balance, which then you deposit to PayPal, but I don't touch the Streamlabs balance. So it's all just sitting there. Yeah. And that's all, like, whatever goes there is going to be like, okay, I'm doing, like, before I did $100 giveaway, which fell flat on its face. I don't even fucking know how. That was like the biggest bother to me, because like there's this dude who like got a following for doing giveaways, but it's so annoying. I won't even name him, but he does these giveaways. He's like, yo, give away $3, but you got to retweet this tweet and follow this person. And they get like 6,000 retweets. And I was like, yeah. And I'm like, all right, I'm giving away $100. Like literally all you have to do is follow my stream. Like that's it. And it got like 10 retweets. I'm like, what the fuck, bro? Yeah. Like, don't you, like, I don't know, like free money, really clicking a button. It's so weird to me, but
I come across that a lot too. I'll see a stream, because what I'll do is I try to draw, and like you said earlier, I think, you try to draw maybe some ideas or see what others are doing in your genre to kind of see what works, what doesn't, while still maintaining your own voice. And it's just interesting to see what other people do, and I'll see some people like in Zwift, for instance. There's the cycling thing I do, and there's some people on that platform that are just so boring and like, I don't sound like a jerk, but like they don't talk to the stream at all. It's as if like the stream doesn't exist. The people commenting. Yeah, man. Like they're not racing. They're just like working out. They're not like entertaining. It's not like they're not talking to the stream because they're doing a soliloquy or something. It's literally just a guy riding a bike in his room, and people. He's got like 100 followers. I'm like, what? Or 100 people in the room. It's like, what? There's just so many puzzling things like that sometimes. Man. Like, what the hell? Yeah,
you have to be careful of the snakes in the grass, though, right? Because there's so many, like, there's so much disingenuous shit that you can do to, like, I don't know if you like vulgar language yet. I don't know. I've dropped so many swear or whatever. So there's a lot of disingenuous shit, bro. Like it kills.
You can swear away, brother. Swear away.
It's so weird. Like, for example, this dude just came by my stream. I could probably even name him. I don't even care. What a loser. He like came by my stream and he's like, oh, bro, like, he was come by for a while and chatting and whatnot. It was cool. And he's like, yo, I hit 1,000 followers on Twitch, man. Finally. I'm like, yo, that's sick, dude. Congrats, man. Like, I just hit 2 point. I think at the time I hit 2.4. I was like, I just hit 2.4, man. Like, we're all hitting milestones. It's awesome. He's like, cool. Then he comes back the next day, like 3 days later. He's like, yeah, man, I just hit like 4,000. And I'm like, in 3 days? He's like, yeah, it's crazy, man. I'm getting all this. It's crazy. I'm getting all the support from these people, man. But like, trust me, like when I'm at the top, like I'm bringing everyone with me, all this other stuff. I'm like, all right, man, like cool for you, bro. Like, whatever, man. Like, sure. Like I'm not a hater. And then like Literally like 4 days later, came back. He's like, yo, I just passed 8.2K, man. Like, we're hitting numbers. And I was like, bro, you're buying followers. I was like, you're a loser. Like, I said this on the stream. I was like, you're a loser. You're buying followers. Like, it's so obvious to me. Like, you're literally not fooling anyone. He's like, wow, that's how I get for trying to show support. I was like, all right, well, let's pull up your stream. And then he left. He like left the stream or whatever. I was like, let's pull it up. We pulled up his recent VODs. No one chatted at all for 4 hours. Not a single message in chat. View count sat at like
people.
The whole stream. 8,000 people in a week. Not a soul. Silence. Silencio. And then I have this other person who he is a good content creator. So I don't know why he did this, but like he did this. He had this other website or whatever he was working with, and he put his stream in as an embed on the website, which means any traffic that goes to the website counts as a view on Twitch. I don't know if you know that's how embeds work.
No, I had no
idea.
idea.
On Twitch, if you embed your stream anywhere, which you can do, any traffic that goes to that website counts as a view. So what he did was he embedded his stream on a website, started getting like 80, 90 viewer streams, and nothing. Ghost town. It says 90 viewers. Ghost town. Not even his Nightbot's talking.
So if
literally, there's no one.
If you did that, like, so say he did that on a daily basis, and because I think what's Twitch partner 75, right?
It won't work because they check that. They'll check like actual like. Yeah, they do an actual review. Yeah.
I was gonna say that'd be a shitty way to get to partner.
When I switched from Mixer, I applied for Twitch partnership and I got denied, which was annoying because anyone who was a Mixer partner got Twitch partnership guaranteed. It was just part of the transition program. Yes, but I didn't get it because I just applied. Because I just got through the grace period time of not.
Oh, that sucks.
So I just applied to Mixer when they shut down Mixer. I had made that appeal to Twitch and they didn't acknowledge it, which really sucked because I would have loved to start off as a partner and had those kind of benefits. Because I have emotes in the weight that I can't even use because I only have certain slots. I have subscribers like Ahoge, who I was mentioning, I think is at like, I can't even remember, like 26 month subscribe streak. Wow. And there's not even a badge I have to honor that. It only goes up to a year because I'm not partnered. But I have people, Dr. Logical is at like 18 months, hitting Mo 17. Like people have hit these long subscriber changes of like everything. Even when I switched from Twitch to Mixer, they kept their sub going just in case I came back to Twitch.
That's so crazy.
And it's like, yeah, exactly. And like literally I came back and it's like the streaks were still going. And it's like that kind of stuff is so awesome. But if I had partner, I'd have more tools. And I don't have it. I don't have my tools. And like any of the stuff that I would really like the ability to go higher bit rate, the lower latency mode for people to watch, like all that stuff I wish I had.
Well, I'll tell you what, man. I think that obviously you were there with Mixer, and you're going to get there with Twitch. There's no doubt in my mind. I mean, your drive is impressive, and everything that you've done so far and the support that you have, I mean, you definitely have a supporter for life over here on this end, man. It's
appreciate that.
Especially after talking to you and getting to know you. And for those listening or watching or, who listen in the future, we never met. I mean, we don't know each other. This is the first time we've actually had a conversation with each other, and it was this is why I love doing this stuff. It is. We got to know each other, and I have nothing but respect for what you do, man. And I know how much time and effort you put into it, so I'll be putting all your links in there. I think there's going to be a good spot to end. We've been doing it for almost 2 hours, man. So
yeah, man.
And I always like to end with, do you have anything that we didn't cover that because I don't prepare questions. I just talk. I just want to get to know you. Do you have anything that you had planned to talk about that we didn't cover that you might want to go over or get a message out there?
Not entirely. I mean, I guess the most important thing is just that, like, I don't know, man. Like I tell it to everyone, like I'm a big believer in energy and I'm a big believer in like how people's like what they put out there is kind of like what they get, and to make sure you're always putting out that positivity. Like if I could say anything, it's to really like value yourself and like your dreams and your future over anything, because like you really do only get one shot at this life. I'm not saying that as somebody who like just says it for like, you know what I mean, like the buzzwords and the clickbait, but I'm saying it as someone who had nothing and who now has everything from like the work standpoint. Mm-hmm. And like it's so amazing to like be able to appreciate everything. So like for the people who maybe had stuff but had that vacuum of not knowing where they are, pick something and just do it. Chase that dream, chase that goal, do that thing. And it doesn't matter if anyone accepts it. There's going to be some people who accept you for it, and find the happiness in that. Don't look for like the general happiness or whatever, because you'll never find it. Find the happiness in the thing that you love, and then continue it on, man.
I think it'll be a good point to insert a Joe Rogan quote that he always says that all the time. It is, I forgot the exact quote, but it's comparison is the thief of joy. And I think
yeah, 100%. Yeah,
that's definitely something to keep in mind.
Yeah.
Yep. All right, man. Well, I really appreciate you taking the time to come on here for especially the time that you were on your day off. And I really do look forward to the more growth that we're going to see out of you, the more content that you're going to continue to pump out. And God help us when you go full time, the amount of content that we're going to be seeing from you.
You're going to get annoyed. You're going to be like, shut up.
No way, man. You're too entertaining for that. So have a great rest of your day off, man. Enjoy the time with the girlfriend. And, we'll see you streaming, man.
Appreciate it, boss. Thank you. Catch you later, man.